Greetings, Grandmaster Amoni here, coming to you live from Mombasa, Kenya, where we get on the topic of real and touch on some maybe forgotten about topics and situations dealing with Black people and our ability to look for peace of mind, equal opportunity, a great life where we can take care of our kids nicely. Now, the topic for today is the importance of really understanding racism. I've talked on this before, but I really wanted to get in here and clean up this understanding. So know that those of you that are listening to me and you want to understand my point of view, or where is Jim Rock coming from, I think today I wanted to clear that up so as to give you a clearer understanding of where I'm coming from, because I'm looking at some of the comments and there are several of us who seem to be looking at this thing from a misguided or wrong point of view. Now, I understand many of you understand, but I felt that I needed to do this video real quick to clarify what we're all about here and what really drives and motivates this channel. Now, as you know, I've been living here in Kenya for 22 years, but I was Black conscious 10 years in the U.S. And I dealt with Africans in the U.S. and of course, when I came here, I had also dealt with them. So coming into Africa, I had knowledge as any young adult would have coming into town and starting to do business and working. I pretty much knew how to talk, how what the protocols were, and things you don't do, some things that would be disrespectful. I pretty much knew most of those things. But beyond that, what goes before that, of course, is why did I have to leave the U.S.? Couldn't I have found some way to use my great energy to find peace of mind in the greatest economy in the world? Things aren't all gravy, but the United States has so much to offer, as far as employment, as far as fun places to go, as far as traveling around the country, you know, and some might even say even the educational system uh, gives us a view of how good the U.S. is or was compared to uh, other countries. Well, most people that are saying they want to go back to Africa, there is a small majority of them are saying because racism is too much. All through my internet, I'm getting these videos coming to me about a racist white man says something to a black person. The racist police pulled this black guy over for no reason. You know, the racist white woman is chasing down this black guy for this or that reason. Even the racist traffic cop shoots the black guy in the back. The racist cops choking out the brothers, and all because they're black. And we really like to feel that justice is supposed to be there, and that somehow now that we can get them on video, we can expose all these uh, white racists and people that hate black people and point the finger at them and embarrass them, maybe make some of them lose their job or whatever. And I'm here to tell you, Dangerous Dolly, good morning. It's really early, huh? Sorry about that. Should I go off and come back later? But anyway, we got to continue. The issue is a lot of our people, first of all, have trouble reading and comprehending. Some of us fear the keyboard to type a sentence because they're embarrassed or they don't want people to know that it would expose their like level of education based on I get the top up based on okay, hold on, let me top up because if I don't okay. Kenyatta Todd, that's you. Right. Okay. We'll be meeting each other soon. That's great. I'm here and I want to talk about our understanding of racism. And we always look at racism as, some of us look at racism, and this is for them, look at racism as something where whites don't like blacks. And I'm here to tell you that though you might feel like you're motivated to see what happens to whites after they do racist acts, it means nothing. Somebody call me a nigger, and what is that? It is not what they say, it is my interpretation of what that means that sparks me to be angry or to be upset. It's not whatever they might think what a nigger is. They might think it's something good, and I take it the way I want to take it, and then I would be wrong to take action on someone based on my interpretation of that word or whatever it is that they may have said. People, I'm here to tell you something that you really must understand and get your head around. And I know it is a little bit complicated, but racism isn't about hatred or black and white in this country. Racism is about economics. He can call me a nigger all day long, but if you give me that job and a good paying job and allows me to do my job and get my paycheck every month, am I really concerned what he thinks about me? We have been confused, tricked so many times that someone will start talking about racism and then talk about blacks and whites hating each other. That doesn't have nothing, and then nothing is resolved from that, because racism is simply in somebody's opinion. The real corporate here, the real enemy is the economic disparity that whites are inflicting on us since many years. I don't have to get into that. I'm telling you, blacks would hardly care what a white person says to them if they're making good money and they got a good job and no one is interfering with them raising their family. So we need to stop talking about white people calling us nigger and putting us in chokeholds. I'm sorry, but a brother that gets killed and a white man kills a brother on the street is nothing compared to the economic disparity that is inflicted on whole communities, whole neighborhoods. We got to get the reality right. When I'm saying come to Africa, I'm not saying because white people calling you bad names, who cares? I'm telling you because the economic disparity in the wealth gap is at an all-time high, and even the best economic people are saying it's going to take 2 generations for us to even attempt to come close to closing that gap. But I'm here to tell you that that gap will never close. The average white medium income in Detroit, Michigan is $678,000. Compare that with $95,000 for black people. The economic disparity in Boston, as you have probably read, was the whites had $847,000 compared to the black person in Boston, which had $8. Now that's racism. People have always been talking about Boston as one of the most racially divided cities. And it's not because, and you go there and you ask white people and they say, I don't know nothing about no racism. I don't see racism as a problem here. They don't. Because they looking at it as if like white people hate black people. But if you making $800,000 living in nice neighborhoods and you don't even hardly see no blacks, why would you be racist? Because they ain't affecting your lovely life. The police are running around your neighborhood and if they see a black person walking the street, they're going to stop him and ask him what's up. This is all part of the system. It is the economic disparity that white people practice that make black people suffer and not allow us to reach any type of economic gains. When they say that we are 13% of the population, but we hold less than 0.5% of the wealth, this is extremely serious. During this 2007 housing crisis, black people lost 53% of their wealth. They cannot get loans for businesses if they don't have homes. They can't run businesses. They can't have communities without the businesses. So all of this trickles down to the reality that many of us are ignoring, talking while we're watching the video of the white woman videotaping the black guy in front of his own yard. You're forgetting that economic racism is oppressing millions of us. It's not like they knock on your door and say, hey, I'm going to do you in, and you're not going to get a job in this particular place. It's very subtle now. You go to apply for a job and you somehow, they just don't get you. They don't take you. And we know this. We know what it's like to find somebody got a job offer. We take our application and our CV and we go resume and we go to that address. And you can basically get out of the car in the parking lot and walk up to the building and see this ain't for black people. These people, it's a rare chance for me. You walk up in the parking lot and you see some black people walking around laughing, walking, and say, okay, these people are hiring blacks. This is wrong. And no country you live in should be treating you or having you looking around for this kind of thing. And you know that your children are going to be subjected and have to learn these same kind of little lessons. Yeah, it's just some places we can't work at. Some areas we just can't live in. And today's generation has been beat down and just accepts it. Well, I mean, that could be true or that not could be true. Well, I submit to you that these people are serious. And we think that it's somehow ends in justice. White people don't play fair, and we black people always looking for justice. So I want to remind you of something. And I know you people that want to prove me wrong, go look for yourself. But a lot of you have the mentality because you don't go through the history. I want to take you back to the 1800s when President Lincoln signed an order giving blacks hundreds and thousands of acres in North Carolina and Florida area, where they were preparing to give blacks 40 acres and a mule. And his administrations were talking about this. And they were very excited that that's what they were going to do after Lincoln was re-elected. Now, I submit to you that President Lincoln was assassinated because he wanted to do this campaign promise to give blacks land. And when you go back and look at the you can't really find a lot of information on it, but if you look at the timeline, it's exactly right. They assassinated him, and then Vice President Andrew, first thing he did was rescind the law. And they had already been given 40,000 blacks land. That already settled 40,000 blacks land. President Andrew took over after Lincoln, rescinded that order, took the land back from those freed blacks that had already established themselves on the land, used white mobs to remove them, and gave the land to white slave owners, former white slave owners. Now, do you really think these people are going to somehow help close the wealth gap? I went into the 1920s, and today's wealth gap is about as big as it was in the 1920s. They had a lot of roaring 20 people there. People were having a great time in the 20s, but at the same time, there were a lot of poor black people. We were subjugated to only one type of big business, and that was the service business. Our position in the 20s was that we served black people. We served white people. We was the cooks. We was the laundry cleaners. We was the, all doorman. We was the chauffeur. We was all of those things. But we wasn't the business owners. We wasn't the moguls. We didn't run around owning businesses in the 1920s. Nothing. That was unheard of. The best you could do was rally around Marcus Garvey and become a Garveyite. And Garvey was there. Rise up, you mighty race. You can be whatever you want. So that shows you what they thought about us back then and what we thought about ourselves. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. So when I'm saying go back to Africa or come to Africa, I'm saying that that's the only option you have as far as improving your stance economically. It is not going to be possible for that wealth gap to close in the United States. White people don't play fair. They create all kind of, they can't create a law, they create an ordinance. If they can't get away with an ordinance, they come up with some sort of policy. And we have to fight that policy. And who got the money? Maybe Byron Allen, he can go all the way to the Supreme Court. That thing costs millions of dollars to do that. But he thinks it's justice there. And I'm telling you, you're going to find out that it ain't justice because white people don't play fair. He can win everything, and then whites still say refuse to pay you. Wenda, how are you? Great to see you. Molden, greetings, my brother. Good to see you. And Zinga, how is it? So some of us think like, okay, well, we can, black home ownership is the ticket out. It's not the ticket out. People always want to talk about, the amount of money they won in Las Vegas, but they never want to talk about the money that they lost. And getting into black real estate, the houses don't appreciate in value in black areas as fast as they would do in white areas or as much as they would do in white areas. So you'll hear see about these homes went up in value and they sold, this whole house was bought for this amount, and then later 10 years later they sold it for this amount. Check out where that house is. Is it in a white area or is it in a black area? You don't see it in black areas. This is what people are not realizing. You actually have people buying houses in black areas and the house depreciates in value over 10, 15 years. Depreciates in value. So if you think like I'm gonna go and buy myself a home is a liability. It is not an asset. Now some of you get upset with me, but I ain't the only one saying that. And you really need to realize this. If you don't believe me, go back to 2007 and ask 50% of the homeowners that lost their homes why it didn't help them, even though they own their own homes. White people came up with policies, banks came up with ideas of the whole loan got to be paid in 10, 20, 30 days or we're going to foreclose on your house. Do you remember how many foreclosures there were? Don't be mad at me. I'm just trying to give you a history lesson to wake you up to see that you don't have those kind of options. Things aren't going to get better. And this is why I'm here talking about the African plan. The seriousness of this can't be overstated. Boston, white people, averaging income $840,000 per year, I think, and the black people average income is $8. $8. This disparity of wealth runs all through America. Detroit, where we are the majority. The white income is $678,737, and black wealth $95,000. And we the majority with a white mayor. It don't matter if we're the majority or the minority of any city. Whites don't play fair, and the government is helping them. I'm in so much financial debt. I've got all these bills. Fuck them bills. When you move to Africa, fuck them bills. Let them deal with that on that end. The problem with us is that they don't play fair, but you feel like you still got to play fair. Now, some of you are like, oh, no, now you're crazy now. I'm just going to leave my bills to be wherever I am. Did I not tell you about the disparities of wealth? Do you think that this magically happened because black people did something on their own? This is by design, my friend. Went off the top now. He's telling us don't pay our bills. Oh, that guy's now that nigga's crazy now, you see? And his old poor broke ass in Africa. That's just your mind trying to make sense of the thing so that you think you're right. That's like you sitting up on the fucking railing of the Titanic trying to tell me I'm a fool for getting in the lifeboat. That the ship gonna tilt back correct. Even when I was in the military, there were places we could not send. They cannot send me because of the racial issue. You don't have that. Thank you. You don't have that racial issue in your land. Your land is Africa. And if you're talking about freedom, there is no freedom in America. They twist that all around. What kind of freedom? Financial freedom? You're not going to get that. The whole thing is based on credit and debt. What kind of freedom? Freedom to go live anywhere you want in America? Well, you know that ain't true. I know I'm upsetting some of you. But goddamn it, you're not going to come up on the chat line and tell me about what terrible thing has happened to you. If each and every one of us could tell one story about how we've been economically shut down or by a job we was passed over or a supervisor who's just too much for us, it'd be a better horror story than Friday the 13th. So you really want to sit and think you got time? California, I was there. It ain't nothing worse than you You got a black. I got a black. I live in a black neighborhood now. It takes over by Mexicans. I go walk down the street and the Mexicans is looking at me sideways. That's why I was raised there. Before they even was a thing. But somehow this economic deprivation, this economic oppression has scattered black people. And so we lost our communities, losing our neighborhoods, and nobody want to talk about that part. There ain't nothing better to be surrounded by your own. And if you're talking about freedom, that's what you should be fighting for. You can't win in America. The only way you can win is to lead. By hook or by goddamn crook. I'm never going to get 1,000 views on my videos because I talk like this. And it may take you 2 or 3 months after hearing this for it to start to resonate to you. You know, you might have to drive around and notice some things before you come to realize, like, God damn, you know, it used to be black all around, but now, you know, how is it that most of my coworkers are not black? Why is it that I got to work 2 jobs to survive in the greatest economic country supposedly in the world? But I mean, if I come to Africa, how am I going to secure an income? That's your job. God damn it, you're a black American, you're a survivor. Figure that shit out. I did. You think it was all roses for me? It wasn't. But the alternative was totally acceptable. The alternative is ridiculous. You know, I'm talking to my brothers now, and there are women out there that can wake up in the morning and decide they want to go in another direction with your kids. And whether you like it or not, they can go and the government will help them take money out your goddamn paycheck. Oh, Judge, I'm gonna pay. And you're damn right you're gonna pay. They got a government institution, wing of the government that is there to make sure they get money out your hands. No other country has this kind of nonsense. Black male-female relationships is all brothers is like, I'm never getting married. I'm never gonna have sex with a black woman. You know, it's when it comes down to that, are you really free? Are you really happy? You eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because when you get your check, like, you know, you living in a little one-room shack, and because you can't, your check is like whoop. And then they're telling you should have kept your dick in your pants. Now, how is that? I was given this dick by God. He told me, or she told me, this is what you do with it. And in fact, you ain't got to think about it, because when you get around a woman, I'm going to help you understand what you're supposed to do. And told her the same thing. So when I get around a woman, or when I'm walking around, I'm trying to think about, like, I want to have a good time tonight. It's automatic. That's just nature. And the government has gone into this part of the nature and figured out a way to yank money out your ass. What you need? Okay, go outside, because I'm doing a video. I know. I told you about that. Some more water. Water outside. Come on, get hold it down. Students are out here late, playing hard, and then they see my bottle of water on my desk, and they're gonna ask me. It's 2,000 students. I don't want to give them my water. They'll be coming in good groves. You know. So they have the government has figured out a way to use nature, our natural nature or instincts, every man and woman that do it, to figure out a way to yank money out of our ass. And then tell us it's our fault. And then make labels for us. And so there are some brothers that are out there paying child support, and oh, I pay my child support. I'm not a deadbeat dad. You know, that's for somebody else. You know, you run around proud like a fool. You falling for the system in the first place. How the hell you paying child support in the first place? So don't be proud that you're paying. How did it get to be the point where you can't raise your own kids without the government's interference? It's unfair. Now that shit ain't in Africa. No African woman can wake up in the morning and talk about, I think I'm gonna go in a different direction, me and the kids. She go to the government. There ain't no agency where she can go and they slap my paycheck the next day. Ain't no shit like that in Africa and Kenya. She ain't got no overrights in court. She's looked down at for being a mother with children who wants to separate from the children from the father. Because when you boil it all the way down, it's just that the woman has decided that I think my personal opinions are more important than my children having a father on a regular basis in their life. As a mother, the best thing you can do for your children is to find them a father, living father that they can depend on. But that shit ain't happening because 70-something plus percent of the households run by females. And the prisons are just filling up. The brothers don't operate like us. We're godly people. Yeah, we're exactly Antonio Parker. We are not them. You see? I'm gonna tell you the story. What one of the brothers that came here is still here. Maybe we'll do a show with him. So he goes out at night. He goes to this club, and the waiter brings him a beer in Kenya here in Twapa, and he's at this specialty club. I won't talk about it more than that. But the waiter brings the beer, opens the beer, and then tells him the beer is like 450 shillings. So he refused to pay. He thought that was injustice. That's not right. So the guy told him, well, let's go on down to the police station. So he said, let's go on down to the police station. I'm not paying, you see. So he went to the police station. The police station, either you pay the $450 or you go in jail overnight and you see the major magistrate. He going to say guilty or not guilty. You say not guilty, you're going to pay a $10,000 bond. So when he realized that, he was like, shit, $450 sounds pretty nice. But my point is, he fought injustice. He felt that he was being unjust. But that's nothing like that. They've got you believing in a concept that's not real. It ain't real even in Africa. Everything is a negotiation. But white people ain't ready to negotiate with you. White policemen ain't gonna negotiate with you on something. So you got a missing tail light. And you got a warrant out for your arrest. You're gonna have to get your kids out of the car. Your 3 kids gotta go out of the car. We're gonna tow that car. And do you have anybody that can pick up your kids? They have to be here in 15 minutes, so your children are gonna go to child services. God damn. It's like they do that every day. This is what you did in life. You don't get that in a free country that's your own country. Ain't nobody that stupid. Ain't nobody that cruel. And this thing happens every day in the United States to black people. It's time to get out. Okay, I want to remind guys that to support the channel when you can. I want to thank Evalyne, the Queen Evalyne, for supporting the channel in the last video. We had one person support the channel in the last video. That's okay. We get somebody to support every channel, and that's every show, and that's nice. And let me know if I'm saying anything of that's useful, and if I'm wasting my time, then don't support. But if you see like, okay, this is good information, support the channel. www.worldremade.com. This is the phone number, and this is the contact name, Evalyne, my wife. Not Evalyne. She's the Queen's sister. She was the first lady to support the channel. Ashley Loren, thank you. It's your 32nd birthday just passed, and you didn't invite me for cake? Not an accomplishment. I've not been arrested. I was 36 years in, I think 37 years in, never been arrested. You know, I'm all out. But once I started getting into trouble, shit, jail was just like, oh, that's just a thing. You know what I mean? I was sitting in the cell and I'm talking about, shit, this is what Martin Luther King went through. This is what Malcolm went through, you know, and I'm crying over some few days, you know. You can't be in this kind of position that I'm in and talking like this and not getting into trouble some kind of way, you know. Like I said, the road for me was not an easy one. But when I figured it out, it's okay, I'm tell you, you figure it out, you're going to be well. And I'm saying that we can sit together and I can help you try to figure it out. How you can survive here. How you can get over here. A lot of our people, we have this rush mentality, got to be done right away. And, you know, somebody tell you it's going to take you like 3-4 years of running around in Africa trying to figure out how to secure a business. You're like, oh, that's too long. Like you know, like you can't get that in America in 3 years. There is a lot of discipline that it takes when you come to Africa. But goddamn it, they can enslave us, you know, Jim Crow us, and you know, mass imprison us, you know, police lie, throw us in probationary periods. We survive all of that. So you trying to tell me you can't come to an African country and try to figure out how to survive? No, man. In fact, you should just don't come with no money, no nothing. Then your brain will be busy. You won't be thinking about going to the club, working some pussy somewhere. No, you'll be thinking about where the fuck can I get the next meal? You see that guy walking down the street, you think you want to try to impress him. I'm a black American, I got money. You don't come with no money, and you be like, brother, you know, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you give me some kind of, you know, job that I can do, you know? And the next thing you know, you're moving up. Okay, thank you, Abby, for telling me that it's their net worth and not their income. Some of these statistics are the wealth, worth, and some of these are incomes. But the fact of the matter is, Abby, you cannot overlook that there is the disparity in wealth. What is that? I'm trying to see. Kenyatta Todd, dangerous Dolly. I have just received your support. Thank you for that. We just need like 2 more people to do that, and I would be really appreciative. that you guys are showing some love for this channel. And remember that money that you supported is outside now America. It's in Kenya right now. It's in Kenya shillings. It's making Kenya more powerful, making Africa more powerful. Whereas if you was doing super chat, that's half of that goes to the YouTube. Part of that goes to the YouTube. Other part goes to the Patreon. They goes to the IRS, gets notified, and the money is actually put back in the system to help oppress us. But this money that you send here, this way, automatically comes here. And you see what I have been doing with that money. If you guys not been to your website, I hope this is the right one. If the link don't work, it's probably because I misspelled the word somewhere. So after Lincoln was assassinated, for the next 300 years, blacks there was just nothing but violence and wiped us out. They wiped us off land. They had white mobs came and destroyed wherever little community that we had. Whites would just walk in and wipe us out, all the way up to the 1920s when we had nothing. We were just servants. See, there was no civil rights in the 20s. There was nowhere you could go to the government and say, hey, these white people beat me up. There was no recourse for our people back in the 19th, for our great-grandfathers back then. You know what I'm saying? They just had to buck and dance, Step and Fetch It and all those people there, the whites loved that when they showed us acting like a fucking fool, idiots, and comedians. Because a comedian can't help you. I see David Chappelle, he makes me laugh, but goddamn, I can watch him for 30 minutes and I haven't done nothing for myself to improve myself economically while I'm watching him make me laugh. You see? So I come to realize that they paid Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, all these other comedians, Michael Jackson. They pay all these people because they can keep us pacified and not understanding what the real game is. And I'm submitting to you that the real game is economic oppression on a large scale of our people. So you might think you got a good job, but overall, we don't have that. So what does that mean? That means when you go to the fucking liquor store in your Lexus, you get out the car, shut the door, and then you got to blip, 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 5 times for all these locks so that the shit don't get stolen. Because you can't run around in the black community. You rare because you got the good job and you got a good car. You rare. But you got to protect your shit. Now, what kind of life is that? Don't you want a kind of life where you can roll your Lexus up to somebody's Roland Martin car, see it like a bunch of a club where you see all the black bourgeoisie go in there, and then you go in and sit down with all of them rich brothers next to you, and you guys start talking about what? They get money at that mom. All you can really talk about is how they shot Nipsey Hussle. How the other day they did gentrification and wiped out a whole black neighborhood. That's what we've come down to today. Oh man, you guys is chilling me out. Wait a minute. Brian O'Galley, appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's what I'm saying. You guys, that's what really keeps me going, when you guys can support the channel. And we need new people to support the channel. Don't give it all to Ashley and Devontae. Don't let them be the ones to put all the pressure on them. Because there are a lot of times they may move out of town, or they might lose their YouTube ability, and then you're depending on them to support us, and then Next thing you know, poop, we're off. But I appreciate that. Let's keep it going. And I wanted to try to come on here and try to remind you guys that the racism is about economic oppression, which causes wealth disparity, which causes us to be in this situation. And then what magnifies it is then when we're suffering, trying to make ends meet, some white person come along and call us a nigger, or the police come and harass us. That's just over the top. And it's going to continue to be over the top until we get an African plan, go to the airport with all our bags, and put this over our shoulder as we get on the airplane and go. Just remember that when you get on the airplane, thumb it up behind you. White people gonna be in the airport looking at you, well, fuck all you people, and I'm out. You see? And I'm here to tell you and to be an example to you that Africa won't let you down like you think. We have a lot of people that think like you're gonna go there, you're gonna be suffering. No. And if we can establish a support camp the way we were talking, there ain't gonna be no problem. You can fall completely on your face, but we're gonna pick you up, dust you off, get your ass back out there. We're not gonna let you come and lay in the camp like, oh man, no. If you got a drinking problem, you out the camp. But if you're ready to work hard and go here and see what you got to do to make some money and secure some income, we're gonna support you. That's what I'm saying. Why do I call it a camp? It's because it's on temporary structure that either will grow as it's needed or shrink as it's needed. Am I saying tents where people climb in tents? No, I'm saying partly cemented structure with a canvas top on it, an area for a kitchen, and then the areas that have beds in them, and then in a common area where we can sit and have meetings. That type of camp, something simple. Nothing elaborate, something that got Wi-Fi all the way around so people can get on their laptops and just talk to people back home when they need to, get that support. And that's what I'm talking about. Now, some of you are for it, and then others of you are saying that that can't work, or you have a wrong conception of what I'm talking about. But just remember that I have been here 22 years, and I know what can actually be developed without having the government be involved and without having the issues of people coming and paying a lot of money for the space. We don't need all of that. It's a temporary location. The letter is unavailable. Okay, I must have misspelled let me try again. It's blackpeopleformodernafrica.com. Black people for modern Africa.com. I hope that might work. Check that out and let me know if that's the one. But you all know that the website is there. So, Brother Amara, I try to show you some love, but it says the website is unavailable in your country. No problem. I don't know what country you're in. Somebody from Jamaica had been trying to support the channel for about a month now, and they had this kind of issue. We are working on a Cash App solution. We're working on a Cash App solution where Deron Tate, our #1 supporter. Thank you, bro. I don't know how you always be listening to the channel. And that's great. Just remember that your support is now, you have supported Africa. You are, take your support as you've invested in Africa. And that takes away money that the U.S. can be getting. So you know they're going to come for my neck very soon. And they figure this out, you know. And this kind of thing, oh, trust me, they're going to stop this. I'm going to get a letter from YouTube. You can't be asking for money over the line like that. You know, it was just me as my business sense and smartness that I came up with the idea. And now they can't get money from the Citrus Center. I think we as Black Americans fail to see or think about the immigrants and how they think immigrants to America could do. I think uh, we are victims. So I don't really want, Abby. I don't want to see it that we failed, or we didn't know, or we refused to do, or we don't unify. These people are kicking our ass on purpose, and we're looking for justice. They're not paying fair. You see, playing fair. They're not playing fair. So whatever we do or not do, somewhere there's a goddamn hidden hand that is universally oppressing us to the point where we can't even go to our fucking family members because of economic situations. Somebody owed me money, they didn't pay. Goddamn, you don't have money, and you somebody owe you money, you mad. That's a natural response. You call them on the phone, God damn it, blah, blah, blah. You see, further separating the families. And what does it all turn around? What does it all come down to? At the end of the way, all is money. Money. And the white man is the one pulling them strings and pretending like he don't have no strings. You cannot get this kind of disparity in a goddamn country unless somebody is got a workable plan and they working on that plan. And they're laughing at us. White people, Phil Scott said, white people love to see black people frustrated. They love that. So these black guys put on blackface on their face, and then they was laughing when black people was getting upset. And as we reduce in numbers, more and more of these type of people will come out and be able to, and you will see that there's nothing we can do. The only thing you can really be assured of at this time as a black person in America is that you are a descendant of Africans. Your ancestor was brought here, he landed on the shore as an African, and then he was turned into a Negro. And every seed, every generation he produced after that was either born, told what they were, and educated in the fact that they was whatever they was, but they was never told you are an African. We lost that, and we need to get that back. Don't give a damn about the black person next to you, what they think. Don't give a shit about what the other one may say. Each person individually has to come to the understanding that this country is not yours, never was yours, never going to be yours. And they know as long as they can economically oppress us on a wide scale, we're going to live in shitty neighborhoods. We don't have no black communities. Half of us is going to be all kind of illicit behaviors. If that's what you want for your children, then don't do the African plan. And it shouldn't be that way. Because what Francis Cress Welsing taught me, and Neely Fuller taught me, you can't talk about Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, without talking about Neely Fuller, was that we superior to them. I'm talking about white people. Now, I'm not talking bad about white people. And I didn't have nothing to do with it. I just was blessed to have some melanin, which made me able to run faster, jump higher, and think smarter than the non-melanated people in this country. They know it, and so they decided that they realize it. They see they can't do nothing about it. Economically oppress them. Make myself feel better about my situation. Now, some of you blacks want to fight that. Oh, we're gonna fight them. We're gonna, this country is ours too. It's not yours. Never was yours. And even if you defeated the white man, the Indians gonna step up and say, my friend, what about us? You were here first. And so, what you gonna do? You're gonna turn around and be the new white black man, oppressing the Indians. But it's never. That's just imagination. The fact of the matter is, the most easiest thing you can do to change this whole situation is to leave America. You tried to assimilate into America for 400 years. They just kept that all quiet. This 400-year thing, they ain't do no celebration. They was watching everywhere we go. Nobody, they won't let no group come up and have a big rally or nothing like that. 400 years just went and passed. We did nothing. We didn't demonstrate. We didn't riot. We just was there. 400 years. Anthony Moretti. Oh, you got from Kenyan. Thank you, bro. Thank you, Anthony Moretti. Yeah, even Kenyans, you guys can just M-Pesa. This channel is for you too. I know I talk a lot about the black people here, but you see, the unique thing about this channel too is that we have a mixture of Africans and Black Americans here. Our Black American brothers are shy. Some of them don't want to come out here and talk about their situations with the African. But if you're an African, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not different from us. They ain't that different from us. We're not different from them. We're all Africans here in this channel. You should all think like that. In fact, you guys should be getting in the comment section, talking to each other, because you ain't gonna get that in other chats. I appreciate the support, brother. So, we're 1 hour. Damn, okay, time to go. But what was my last point? So with all the problems that you have in America, now I have moved and I'm in Africa now. And for living in Africa, all I know is I can go anywhere in Kenya and anywhere, any city, any state, any town, any area, and I can go there and live there. Nobody gonna tell me no. That's what I know. I can look at the map of Kenya and go anywhere, see a nice place, go there, I will be accepted. There ain't no redlining, there ain't no black code, there ain't no sundown time, shit like that. Nowhere here in this country. You're black, you can go and live wherever you got money to take you. That's what I know. What I know living in Africa is that white power is not tolerated here. Contrary to the popular belief, whites are an extreme minority, and they're not jumping up here talking about nothing. They don't own nothing. Be damned if a white person come up here taking pictures of me in Kenya. That's just the people would surround him. That's not gonna be put on the news. That's something you can see for yourself when you hear. I have seen it with my own eyes. And a group of Kenyans, they don't have no concept. Kenyans don't really have no concept of, what happened in colonization. But I be goddamn if you put 15 of them in a place where a white person is talking shit, somebody gonna mention it to him and tell him, if you don't like Kenya, go back to Europe, and you'll hear that. They don't have no power here. Man, you guys are just showing too much love, man. Damn, who's this? Daldo Moroa Omar. Thank you, bro. That's what I'm talking about. New supporters, I appreciate. Africans in Kenya support the channel. Also, wonderful. Black people in America, you guys, your money is powerful. So you know what your $4 and $5 and $3 is wonderful for us. Ashley Wren, thank you again. As you know, I have conduct classes related to any any business. Okay, rewrite that conduct clauses. Okay, I don't get that one. But I don't know. I'm here in Kenya. And all I know that is my woman wakes up one day and decides to go in another direction. She can't help use the government to come after me whether I like it or not. Oh, my chat has been removed. And lastly, I want to remind you, there are no old folks' homes here. There are no old folks' homes in Africa. I know that in my senior years, I'm gonna be taken care of by the young people. They're gonna make sure I got a little room with a little TV and the internet and Wi-Fi, and I'm getting my little 2 meals a day, you know, my little energy drink, and I'll be given enough books to read till I can't read no more. I can call out, somebody give me a glass of water. I do that now, and the water will come in a matter of moments because the people know how to take care of their own. So I don't know. I think the chat line has been damaged. Hi. You know, somebody type in the chat line and see if it's still working because it says disconnected. So until we meet again, this is Amin Ra saying appreciate the support, and let's till we meet again next time. Peace.